this morning update. Let me turn my TV down just a little bit because I don't want to listen to this in the background. I like to have it on just so I can see the headlines, but I certainly don't want to listen to them actually talking. So there. But good morning, everybody, and welcome in. I greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Had an interesting start today. I was making Julie's coffee, and I don't know, the coffee thing kind of did its own thing, and it splashed around a little bit. I threw it away. I bought a new one, but hit the side of my face a little bit, so I got a little bit of a burn on the side of my face. Could have definitely been worse, but it's definitely, you know, Julie's like, you're going to be two-faced now, which was kind of funny when she said it. But anyhow, going into the charts, XRP right now down $2.27.5, down about 7.5 to 8% now overnight. We've got a bit of the best way to put this right now this morning is we know we closed on the Bitcoin futures at 104,000. We closed on XRP at 238. And it's basically the way the morning has started. We give them back 11 cents. And the best, what I would look at here is we have this inverse head and shoulders set up. And now we're going to back test. And we're going pretty hostilely, right? It's like a pretty hostile movement here. Let me delete this now that we actually formed out what we were trying to envision before that pull down and pull back up. Now we want to see if we can hold this and actually continue up towards not just 265. We've got a lot of areas to hit first. 232.7 to stay above. We've got to get back above 240. It's not, some of the minor levels don't really matter, but a big area is going to end up being in the 200-day. This pull down here, though, on a thinly traded weekend, you know, can turn into something here. We're come down where we want to come down now. We can still come down a little farther, but we're not going to want to invalidate the integrity of this setup. It does look like, though, an inverse head and shoulders is trying to play out here. It's just on a thinly traded weekend. We're going to see if this ends up being something worse. Can we look at... Oh, we'll get into XDC, I promise. But right now, the question should be about XRP, not can we look at 150,000 different things. We'll get to them. But I got to get through the opening first. Let's get through this, and then we'll get to what we can as we go. But yeah, XDC is definitely my plan today. Massively oversold in the 45 and the stochastic. 2 hourly's pulling down, but it looks like, honestly, it looks like we're setting up for the continuation of the upside. It really does. Now, if we invalidate this structure, I'll be the first to say it. But right now, it's almost like what I said the other day. Unless this breaks down this integrity and this inverse head and shoulders broke down and it stayed perfectly here. Now this, I would imagine, although, you know, on thinly traded weekends, they can use it against us here and have these setups that can break through much easier on the weekend because there's not as much trading volume. So I'll never say that it's 100% or that it's not going to break down because that's not 100% the case. We're still inside of this channel. Let's see. We're within a bigger wedge, broadening wedge, I suppose you could say. But this is just the micro that we're looking at right here. The macro that I'm talking about that we're within, it's illuminating the pattern. And I would love to get rid of some of this crap. Hold on. Let me get the eraser out. It'd be much easier. Now that we've already done all this, I can get rid of all these dotting. But as I'm doing this, good morning. 9/11. How ironic it's 9/11 a.m. after what's going on in New York. See, this is what the problems in school is when they teach the communistic rhetoric. Literally voted in a communist in New York. How do we feel about ourselves? How do my fellow citizens of New York feel? Women overwhelmingly by 90+% voted for this person, let's just say. How do we feel? We pissed our country away even worse. I live near Dearborn. I know how it goes. And this is in New York. This is on a greater scale. You should see Dearborn. So, I mean, be careful what you wish for. Be careful who you choose allegiance with. Can't we see who the, oh man, it's, anyhow. it's kind of above my pay grade to talk about that in here because we had, you know, it'll probably ruffle some feathers, but seriously. I always wondered when I was in school how we could piss away our country, like how in Italy, how they just gave it away where my grandpa came from. And the people just let the Nazis come in and take over, and Mussolini just didn't do a damn thing. And his citizens were killed. That led me to be an American now. My grandpa. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been born in America, believe it or not. My grandpa and everybody came over from Italy because of all of this. And over on the boat, took my grandpa like 15 years. Got all of his brothers and sisters over first. And he came over last. And now I'm second generation, but they ended up hanging Mussolini by a statue. You know what's going to happen here? They just laid the foundation for World War III. Literally on U.S. soil. And Americans don't even realize it yet. We don't even realize what we just did. This isn't a small city. This is New York City. They let this happen. This is where it all begins. Like literally, if you don't have your finances in control, if you don't have a plan in control, what's unfolding around you is chaotic. It's freaking chaotic. I'm gonna take my vitamins, so I shut up for a second. But it's to a level that I knew my fellow citizens were complete morons, but this takes it to the next level. And you know what? Sometimes you got to speak bluntly, but God, Yahweh, Yahshua, is the founder in this land. Don't forget it. Anyhow, let's get into the nuts and bolts here because I couldn't be more disappointed in my fellow citizens. Politics is all nonsense, but you just gave them the key to the last part of our freedom. Told you, 2028 is going to be a brutal reality for a lot of people. Once that year 2028 ends and we get into 29, a lot of people watching me, it's going to be a harsh reality. Keep talking about it. It does. It pisses me off, to be honest with you, to see what's going on in New York this morning, to see how basically we're pushing in Sharia law. I mean, the women of this country, if you appreciate being able to show some skin, you basically just voted yourself back into a second-class citizen. Like, I don't understand how we could be so uneducated. Oh, it's so bad. We're a constitutional republic. It's so bad. Oh, you don't know what bad is. You just voted in literal communism and socialism, bringing in Sharia law to America. I know a lot about this because I live by Dearborn. What do you think's happening within 15 miles of where I live? I've seen this happen firsthand. This is not good. And now you've overtaken the biggest city in the U.S., the most famous city in the United States. Forget Hollywood. I'm just so disappointed in my fellow citizens. I couldn't even say it for the morons that go out and vote still. It shows just how idiotic we are. It's just unbelievable. The New York mayor is actually Jewish, not Muslim. Did you happen to take a look what they're doing, my friend? Come on now. Are we really defending it by saying, oh, he's not a Muslim, he's an Islam? I'm just telling you. He's Jewish. I have to live with this where I live. Everybody is like a robot. It's becoming really, really, really annoying. Yeah, it started. They used the UK. I remember talking about this in 2021, but I don't get political much. But they did this in the UK purposely. This was the test, and it was 15 years ago when they showed it. They talked about it, and then they said by 20. Well, it was supposed to be a little bit later, but we're in the time in the USA where they said they were going to bring it to the USA one city at a time, and all it takes is one of the big politicos, and then it's all a downward spiral. It's happened. It's happened. That's why Anyhow, the hell with it. What does it matter? I could speak until I'm blue in the face. I've been trying to preach the message for 30 years and nobody listened. Why the hell would you listen now? Let's see. Bitcoin's down 1.68%, or down $1,737. On this little downward spiral here, it's severely oversold in the daily. I mean, significantly. So we'll see if we can carry on. 4 hourly's pushing down. Going into the 2 hourly, we're pushing down towards neutral. If we're going to have this inverse pattern play out, we can come down. We're not going to want to come down crazy, but we've still got room to work here. It's not over yet. This isn't over. This isn't over. Oh, let me get rid of some of this. This was all the stuff we needed before we actually had the reversal. It's not necessary now. None of that's necessary. So if this gets invalidated, this would end up being used as a bear flag. We'd come down to 92. Just remember that. If we want to not get invalidated, we're holding. We've got to not come down much farther than we are right now. I'd say maybe 101. You're not going to want to come much farther than this, because if you do, this is what ends up happening. What started off as so nice is going to start off like a bear flag. And then it's going to be able to shoot us down after we get the rejection here, probably into my 92K zone. That's basically what we're building right now. We're either having a sneaky reversal that's setting up, or we're coming down to retake out that liquidity zone, which is that FVG gap at 92, which would be a real, I mean, if you want to talk a real maniacal game here, XRP compared to a lot of other things, I mean, not just XRP, but a lot of things. Look at how much they've reversed back on this Saturday morning. Now, talk about what was going on Friday besides a government just flipping over what it appears. If this ends up being a 25 or 30% drop over the weekend, that was nothing but another orchestrated push up. And if this were to be an orchestrated push up and we break through and we had that kind of calamity, which I don't know if that's what's building up, but there's something definitely building up here that I don't think we're necessarily going to break down right now. I still think that this is more of a shakeout here before we come up to that next liquidity zone. But you can never be too sure when it comes to a thinly traded weekend. So I'm watching this very closely to see if this does give this away. And if it does, you start looking at that $2.04 level. If you make a new low from that last drop down, you're going down to 177 to $1.82. And it could be even worse. Like, if we have to break down this whole channel for XRP and we end up back down at a lower area, I mean, it could be worse. 177 to $1.82 is the starting point, but you've got that liquidity that can come all the way down. Heck, I mean, for XRP, it can come down a long way, just like the rest of the market. But I'm not sure we're there yet. We felt the sneaky, or we felt that little squeeze coming up yesterday. Now, do they dump it all out on the thinly traded weekend? I find it hard to believe we're going to dump it all back, but XRP didn't move that far. Outside of the other ones, XRP, like maybe IOTA was up like 15, 16, same with Algo. There was a few of them that were up like that much, like VeChain, and there was a couple of them. I know Linea's been up well over 10%, but look at that pull down. If that's a topping reversal now, like at some point, either these are going to catch on and finish out these continuations, which is what I think is trying to happen. Like, I think these will turn into sneaky reversals back up, is what my gut feeling is. But I never underestimate the market makers or the trading algorithms just dumping it through. But right now, I still have the gut feeling that this has to play up a little bit more. And now we're back testing the initial part of this move is what I feel like. But understand this, being in a thinly traded weekend, it doesn't matter what I feel. You know, it could literally go the wrong way very quickly. But everything is back testing that initial push out after that big drop down, just like Epic. This still it has a bit of an inverse pattern set up where it's coming down and retesting these areas. And I would say that this even could come back down to that 72-cent area and still be okay, but we're looking for a continuation out. Like, we're looking for Continuation out. This is not even set up properly because maybe it was. That wick comes down. It's easier to see on the phone sometimes. But I would like to believe we've still got this push up. I just hate getting into the thinly traded weekends. You all know my positioning. I hate being in thinly traded weekends especially when we're pushing hard up, because then it's like they don't need a lot to capsize it. And then what ends up happening is we leave all this topside liquidity because it's so thinly traded that a lot of times, if you don't get in before the weekend, you see it start to develop Friday night. You start to get in Friday night into Saturday. And then by the time you get into Saturday morning and late Saturday, you're like, how does this always happen? How does this always happen? So here's an example. Watch this. So everybody's feeling bearish. Nobody wants to take a chance, right? And you watch this happen. And this is exactly why market psychology must be studied. It's down to 206. We were down here before. This is just the last bounce. We came down to like, what was it, 204-ish? No, it was up here, that last one. Then we came down. Much lower wick. Here, though, when we came down, the weekly and daily was significantly oversold, leading to us to believe that we have to have some kind of significant pushback up. Now, does that already end? Doesn't seem like it. We're back testing the breakout in the stochastic and the weekly. But we did come up to something like, what was it, about, I don't know, 14, 15% at the top. Right now, we're still up 10.4 from the bottom of the wick. The point is when I was at the bottom of this wick, even on Friday and Thursday when we were, hey, this is set up for a nice push up here now. How high does it go? Can we get past 232, 238? Nobody knows. Unfortunately, 232, yes, we got past. 238, we got smacked right in the face. Or 237, I mean. The second layer, smacked in the face. And now we're back testing some of these pushes up, but we broke right through 232. The next area is going to be right around where we're at. Otherwise, we have to come back to like 219-ish, 220. But if we come back down there, we invalidate this structure. So then it's like, well, if we invalidate this little short-term structure, then what? Well, then what is, now we have to retest the 216, or the 206 or 204, which I wouldn't even look at this chart. Like, I have another chart from when we come into these areas. Well, that one's a nice one, too. I mean, I don't mind this if it comes back down. Obviously. I don't mind this if it comes back down. Either way you want to look at it. It doesn't matter to me, but you have to understand that low support. I still feel like it's trying to tug this upper area. Even if it's only 250s, it still feels like, to me, it wants to tug that area. Can't really explain why. It's just, there's so much liquidity up at the top for the market makers that it makes sense. But then what ends up happening is everybody who felt good and they're watching, okay, I didn't buy it when it was down here, but now it does look, Tom, I think he's right. It might be an inverse head and shoulders, even though when it first popped up, the play was there. Play. But now it's like, okay, well, they got me, right? They got me. It came up, came down. Over the weekend, now it's back up to 237. Clearly, it's going up here. So you buy in, and then you wake up, and you're like, well, wait a minute. This doesn't seem to be going in the right direction. 4% ain't much. But when you buy it, and then you wake up 8 hours later, and you're down 4%, you're sitting there going, every time I buy into crypto, and this is what happens, it's psychology. Every time I buy crypto, it's down. No matter what I do, I can't turn around before I lose money. And imagine you spend 10 grand before you go to bed and you're down 4%. Well, $4 out of 100 is not bad. $40 out of 400 is not bad. But now you start talking about, out of 10,000, you're down $400 when you wake up and you're like, son of a fucking bitch. And that's what happens. And then you're like, I'm not trading this crap. And then you sell it without even looking at the stochastic, being like, ooh, that stochastic is way oversold in the 45. At the very least, shouldn't we have to have some kind of rebound up? Remember, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We give some grace on the weekends. But isn't it typical for it to dump down a little bit when we're waking up? Like, oh my God, look how red the market is. People are panic selling out again. But no, I love it. Because eventually, I think this is just working on a majestic reversal. But hey, I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. And if it breaks through, well, at least we know the target below. But I don't want it to break through. I'd rather this continue on. I really would. Linnea, the copy trade. I don't know if it's still down or not. I can't remember. Overall, we're still down. But as far as when we got everybody in, well, the debacle of selling and then rebuying it. But trying to get everybody in, if we all remember. This, what's it down? $15 or something right now. But overall, we got a long ways to go still. We may be down $39 overall right now after adding and things like that. But overall, with all the testing, I've still got to make up that I am personally down. And I'm the only one who's going to be feeling this much. I am personally down when I was trying to set this up and everything. And then the issues. I need to make up. I'm dead serious about this. I'm going to share this every day until it goes back to even and then back above. So I need to make up. Let's see, what am I down? Oh, I don't like being negative in something. Okay, let me just search my guy. It'll tell me XRP. And if you are trying to copy trade me, listen. A lot of you've hit the heart button to follow my post on there, but you have not actually followed my copy trade. We're still at 11. You have to go into XRP Future Millionaire. You have to type that in, and then actual follow, not hit the heart button. You have to follow me. So the 9 people that joined, I appreciate it, but you're not actually part of the copy trade. This is the issue we had in the beginning. So I am down with everything. I still have to make up $1,056, believe it or not. I lost like $400 or $500 trying to test it out when we were trying to get everybody to do it, because I would do it at high levels and try to see how it would work. So I did it how many times? Let's see. I did 7 trades, and 6 times I was on the losing end of it because it was the buying and selling to try to get people to see if it worked. And then the one time I accidentally sold it out like an idiot, just to have to but it got everybody in because we figured it out. So yeah, I've got to make up $1,056 through the copy trade. Now that's not everybody is down that much. That's me. The average person's down like $173. Not anything near the 1,056 that I believe I'm down. Or 1,062 or whatever it is in real time. So that's what I have to make up. So basically I need to make that up, and I mean, I don't care. It's eventually going to go up anyhow, but that's what I am on the negative side. So if you want to join the copy trading, there's a link in the video description below and or pinned comments. And I'm not a financial advisor, but this is the way I trade. So I'm going to inform you on what I believe is the best way of doing things. May not be the best way, but it's what I believe, and it's done me very well. And am I afraid to say it's down in the I don't care. So what? It says it's down $1,000. What the hell? I don't care. I was worth it for the community to test it out. Now, who's ever part of the copy trade? We're down like $35 right now. On average, everybody's down about $173, I believe it says. Overall, that's part of the pits and falls when you start something new. But I guarantee it's going to be way up by the end of it. But hey, I always tell you there's pain in everything you do. And even for me, it was a new process with this particular exchange, and it's a little bit different. And there was a lot of settings that needed to be changed. So I thank everybody for all the help. But if you want to join going forward, as I've said, if more people join the copy trade, I will make another little purchase into it. So I'll make $200, $300. I don't care what the purchase is, just so you can be a part of it. But the 9 people who have joined, you have to not hit the heart button. You have to actually type in XRP Future Millionaire and follow me. You have to follow my trades and copy trade. You can't just hit the heart button. Because on TOOBIT, they have a thing where I can actually make posts on there, which I'm not going to. Maybe I will. Who the hell knows? Maybe I'll share my information on there too. But, yeah, so just remember that. So if you want to be a part of it, and this very live, I do this on every single live. The only exchanges I share, there's for a reason. And I'll explain it, and that's all I'm talking about it. But just in case you want to be a part of our little vendetta, you go to the top right where it shows it. The top one is TOOBIT. That's where you can follow me. It's NO.KYC worldwide. The cheapest fees that I've found outside of BITUNIX, it's almost exactly the same. But but they're pushing further into the USA as to where BITUNIX. They're not taking it away fully, but they're not integrating any further, let's just say. So that's how you follow me there. It's at the very top. Just click that. That's TOOBIT. WEX is no KYC worldwide, which I really love it. It's where I have my 100,000 IOTA and spot. So make sure that if you want to trade IOTA and spot, you go there. And then if you want to trade on BITUNIX, I have my, and this is what I did on BITUNIX, and it's very important for me to keep it. Not just because I like to trade leverage or whatever, but I have my Proton on there. XPR I ended up buying before we had the little move up yesterday. I talked about it before, but I bought Proton on BITUNIX, 555,000 tokens. If I have to sell it out, I will if we break down and then rebuy it back. But that's why I have BITUNIX for Proton, XPR. And then on Kraken, I did buy SHX before the run up yesterday. And now we're back, we're breaking down. But there's some room for some back testing to be able to happen. So that's why I have the exchanges. That's why I have it the way I do. And I highly encourage them. Highly encourage them. That's what I do. So that's why I have those on there in case you're wondering. And that's the way I trade. Tier 1 exchange, I prefer Kraken Pro. They have XDC. And I keep a lot of my tokens on there that I want to have backed by the FDIC and so on and so forth. So, but anyhow, XDC, since we talked about it, is at 566. I think it's in a great spot still. Every single Wednesday, if you're interested, we do Winning Wednesdays starting last week. Again, we used to do it with H-bar when it was at 4.7, 5.2, 4.3 in 2023. And other ones that we used to buy, like we did an XLM, we did an Algo, we did a few of them that we did back then to get the 10,000 tokens. I'm doing $250 a week on XDC until it gets to 10 cents. So the cheaper it gets, the better. As of right now, from last week's purchase, it would be up. If this was Wednesday, we'd have to pay 9.6% more than last Wednesday. So I'm hoping we don't have to pay 9.6% more. But it is a distinct possibility we might have to pay more. But we're going to do every week. Right now I have just over 200,000 tokens. So, hi, buddy. Daddy's got finished. Mama got to put your clothes and stuff on. You want me to walk you over there? Hold on, I'll be right back, everybody. I'm going to walk PT over to Mama. Hi, come here. Come here, I got you. Daddy, get some bubbles. Oh, you got bubbles? What? You want bubbles? You want bubbles? Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. So with XDC, so we're looking at that. So if you're interested in that, we do that every Wednesday during the live. And I'm very excited about that. So I like to look for depreciation, but if I gotta buy it as it's going up, that's fine. Like I said, I've already got over 200,000 tokens, right around the 5.2 level, roughly 5. Well, I bought some under 5 when it was at the 4.9 something. But then when it was at 5 something, we bought some, and then I ended up buying it before the run up again. After we did the Winning Wednesdays, I'm like, all right. So I I ended up getting away from some things that I really like because I wanted to, like, I want to have a profound look into the deeper settings in the ISO, the R3, the Internet of Things with the mainframe. You guys know the story if you're part of this. So right now we have this nice inverse pattern. We really do. We need to get past this area though. We need to get past this area. Unless we get past this area, we're just running in between these resistance support zones and it's just going to layer down. So we need to get past here. Looks like we're setting up something. It really does. It's been a very interesting spot for XDC. I feel like XDC, and yeah, we should get some kind of correction here after that push up, but XDC definitely is feeling like XRP of the yesteryear. Now the daily's pushed up, weekly's massively oversold. Daily was massively oversold and pushed up. But this looks like, now that we're back within this consolidation, if we can push up past 596, we're going to be looking at 7.5. Now, if we break down, we could end up finding ourselves at 2.9, but it's very hard for me to believe in the crypto market now that we're going to have a 50% breakdown when the weekly stochastic is so oversold. It just doesn't generally happen like this. It just doesn't, it just doesn't generally happen like this. That's all I can say. Dan Marginal, welcome in, and thanks for being in Town Zone for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. CJ2 Pilot, thanks for being in Town Zone for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Robert Latham, thanks for being in Town Zone for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, along with Damon. Sola Jeffy and 1970 Legend, thanks for being in Town Zone for your second month with the Dusty Autos Crypto News. And let's see. 1970 Legend, thank you for being a very trusted mod in here too as well. Our fellow Buckeye, I know you're excited about today, the #1 team in the country. And honestly, odds on favorite to go back to back here. Be the first time in some time we've had back to back in college football, but it's very possible and plausible. So, welcome in the defending Buckeye, or the defending national champion. Stole my belt from me. Stole the belt, but kept it in the Big Ten, so that's something. But thank you for being a very trusted mod in here as well. He didn't literally steal my belt, but he stole my thunder. Michigan won the title, and they're like, we're just gonna have to win it again, and maybe again just to spite you. Joseph Euler, good morning, and thanks for being in Town Zone for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor, along with Marco Tremblay. And thank you, Joseph, for the gifted sub as well. He said in one of the lives, I think it was the last one or two ago, that he had a vendetta to give some donations to get the word out for my community, the gifted subs, until I don't remember what the stipulation was. Well, not stipulation, but how long he was going to do it. But it's a very generous thing. Thank you so much, Mr. Euler. And Boomer Bill gets the gifted sub. So Boomer Bill, if you're watching somewhere in the abyss, congratulations, my friend. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the CME gap this morning as well from last night for XRP sits right around $2.38.1. So we could use it as a gap up, attempt here. Let's go into XLM as well. I really want to cover XLM on a more consistent basis as well. I'm a big fan of XLM, as you guys know. I've just over 20,000 tokens. I put a lot more into XDC because I think there'll be more movement, but this looks like it's getting set up for some massive movement. I mean, massive movement. The fact it came down to our trend area at 26 cents it's remarkable. It needed to. Now, if this is the start of something, we need to see when the start happens, because we could very well do this and fall right down to here at 22 and still keep this same setup. I really like where it's at, though, how it came down here. If this was the overwhelming third tap, oh, that would be great. Oh, it would be great. XLM's got such upside potential. I still think, in my humble opinion, and it's based on nothing but my own desire, I think XDC is more tempting. But would I have XRP, XLM, or XDC? No, I would have all three, but it's based on the way you want to do it. My ratio, any given day, I have at least 10 to 12,000 XRP. I always like to have a few thousand that I can move around, but 10,000 will never move. And then I have 20,000 XDC plus, so 10,000 plus XRP, 20,000 plus XLM, but I have 200,000 plus XDC. Obviously, by virtue, if I put all of the XRP money, I would have more. than 200,000. If you put as much as you have in XRP and XDC right now, you would have. That's actually a good question. 500,000 tokens, maybe. I think that might be fair. 450,000, 500, something like that. Probably 450. No, maybe 400, maybe twice as. I don't know how much is 200,000 worth. I have no idea. I don't look at it. I just kind of let things go. I just checked my Zaman and saw my limit order filled out. 50,000 XRP at 0.03. So 3.2 cents. That is not bad, Garbanzo. That is not bad at all. That's a great, that's not bad. These are the areas if you were going to try to take a shot here. I mean, yeah, could it come all the way back down and retap this line again like it did right here at 2.4 and maybe, I don't know if it's going to come all the way back down there, but where I would have started buying, I mean, you're in the right area. We bought at 1.72 cents before the big run up, had to take some profits when it comes up to almost 50 cents. I mean, what are you going to do? And yeah, we were getting squeezed a little bit. Like I was having to sell some at like 15, 20% discounts because there was such low volatility at the time to try to sell. So even though it was at 48, I remember getting 42 and 41 on Owlbank and Coinstore, or I think it was Coinstore when we had to do it. But then we found Owlbank, which made it a little bit easier. And then some people figured out how to do it through the wallets when it became more incorporated, but it wasn't as integrated when we had the big run up. They've integrated it a lot deeper, so you can use some of the wallets to buy and sell the like the Zamans and some of the other ones. But it wasn't as transparent before. They've added a lot more features now in the last year. There's no doubt about it. But now, like I've said, I've reaccumulated, and I have more than I had before. The initial run up, I had 65,000, and then I got I think 7 to 10,000 from staking when it was available on the XP Healthcare app. And then as it's come down, whatever I sold, not only did I buy those back when it got to the 3 and 2.5 cent ranges, as you guys know when it had the earlier drops, but I have over 100,000 tokens now that'll just sit there. And then if we have the next spectacular run up, I have about 30% more holdings this time. So. But it did its job, man. Like, I never expected it to 40-something X that quick, but, I mean, our community was just flabbergasted. Because at the same time, we were watching XRP come up from 38 cents, just a few months earlier, and that all of a sudden ended up going up to 3-something, almost 360, 3 cents. So we're watching all of our stuff, and then XRP Healthcare just punching, like, literally. My eyes are on the floor. I think that's the biggest runner in spot that I've ever had in that small of amount of time. It was remarkable. Sorry about my charts and comments, Tom's Army. I'm still learning. What do you mean, my yard? I gotta go back and see this. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I want to hear. Let me go back and see if I can. You said, sorry about my charts and comments, Tom. Or comments, Tom's Army. I'm still learning. Are you talking about in here, like during the live? Let me go. I don't see it. Let me see. There were so many comments that I missed a lot. I apologize. From 38 minutes in, so I get sometimes behind in the comments. I try not to, but yeah, I'm just behind. So I'll just start from where I'm at. Good morning, Michael and Alec Tony. Thanks for being, and Maryard now, and Garbanzo. Thanks for being in Tom's Army 3+ months in the XRP Meteor. Oh, in the chat of Tom's Army. So you're talking about in the Telegram. I'm trying to talk to the TOOBIT people, and I found their stuff because I'm trying to get them to. Oh, I'm trying so hard, but I don't know if they're gonna do it. We're talking about some crap that they're starting some new token. I'm like, I don't care about your token. I need you to add a few things, and I've tried so hard. I want them to add a few tokens. Like I would like them to add IOTA. I would like them to add a few different things that we trade. I'd like them to add XPR and SHX, but we'll see. Let's see. Where did we see this? But they're not listening. They're like, oh, you can buy our new token. I don't want your new token. I want what I'm talking about. I'm not buying that shit. Oh, excuse me. They're probably watching. All right. Let's see, Bilbo. So are you in the community part? Or are you in the actual charting parts? Bilbo. I know I've seen it. Oh, here we go. So I can see liquidity at 235 and 241, which we are hovering up. After this, will it rebound and grab liquidity at 215? Think it acts as a magnum until shorter longs put in. It's a good question. It's a good question. So I can take it beyond what you're looking at right here in your section. Let me go to here real quick. So let's see. Let's refresh this and let's see some of these liquidity areas we can tap. We'll look together. Great question, Gilbert. Or my yard now, Bilbo. Why did I say Gilbert? But Bilbo. My yard now. Thank you. Good question. So in my humble opinion, if we're going to take out liquidity, I still think we're going to eye this area, somewhere around that 270 mark. And that's where I think the strongest liquidity is. Now, to answer your question, let's take a look in like the weekly or so and see what kind of downward tug we could take, assuming we want to come down to that area before we take the push up. I think it's a great question. I think a lot can learn. If you're watching, make sure to hit that like button as well. We're sitting at 78 likes, 130 people watching. But yeah, my yard now, like Define said. And Define, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. And a very, very important part of what we do. I hope you and your wife, Danielle, are grieving your loss and able to remember the good times from your father-in-law and obviously your wife's father. We continue to pray for his continuation into the next journey of her life as he's through the stage with his vessel of his body, but now he's going to meet his Father, our Lord and Savior. He'll be able to meet up with Yahweh and Yeshua, and I believe God will give him his guiding light. I think this is just the first step in our journey, or it's our step in our journey that is supposed to give us, well, we won't know until we hit that point, but we just pray for the safe passage back to our Father. And as we can see in this country, you know, it's, well, I'm not going to say any more, but let's just say, we sold our souls for a little bit of cheap government assistance once again. All the women went and voted. 90% of the women in New York voted for this new era. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. If you're somebody who voted for this, ask yourself why. How uneducated could we possibly be? But I mean, I'm going to offend a lot of people, but that's fine. I don't care anymore. About that part of it, I remain humble, but you can't just sell yourself out for a few cheap, lousy dollars that you're not even going to get. It's amazing. Hey, I'll give you all this free stuff. Okay, let's vote in a socialist or a communist. That sounds right. Sounds right. How's it working out for everybody with their free stuff, huh? 95% of people who are on government assistance always are below the poverty line. Because guess what? Once you get on government assistance, the key line is if you make too much or if you do too good for yourself, you can't get this free shit. So guess what people do? I can't work. I can't improve myself because I want free stuff. No. You're selling yourself short. If there's one person to bet on, it should be yourself. Stop making everybody else do the betting and do the, it never ends well. It never ends well. It never ends well. What are you going to do when they say, here, take this chip so that you can get your government assistance? Go, okay, sounds good, boss. Here, cut my nuts off while you're at it, too. It's fine. I've already castrated myself anyhow. So damn stupid. Anyhow, I digress. Still looks like, so if we're talking about the liquidity areas, yes, your 215 zone is prominent. That's one area that does make a lot of sense if we were to pull back down. You've got that $38 to $40 million per section here around 214 to 215 and 213. But with what's set up, if we want this inverse setup to pan out, if we want this little cup and handle that formed or this little bullish Gartley reversal, it still feels like to me we've got this overhead liquidity. That 244, 245 is very important to get past. And then if we do, we can open it back up. then you start looking back in the monthly because we have over the top of that 270 area, and that's going to be very important as well. So, but I see a lot of liquidity in that area. So I think this is just a trap this week, and I think we're actually targeting to go up. But, who knows? Like I always say, I'm not a financial advisor, but, this is what I believe. This is what I think is going to happen. I'm not a politician. I don't believe in politics, but if you do, you're on each side of the devil's horn. Think about it. Right side, Democrat. Left side, Republican. Guess what? You just preached us to hell. And I don't appreciate it. My special needs son certainly doesn't appreciate what just happened. God bless my stepkids that are probably too stupid and probably voted for this nonsense because that's what they're taught in school. Not by choice, but just by virtue. Let's see. The mouse thinks the cheese is free in the trap. Absolutely, Tango. That is such a good way to put it. And thanks for being in Tom Zone for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Wow, Alec Tony, thank you for the $9.99 donation. Also in Tom Zone for 3+ months with the XP Meteor says choice 1, 1,000 XRP. Choice 2, smashing that like button. Yeah, hit that like button. I think it's a lot easier than buying 1,000 XRP. We're at 87 likes. Cannabis Podcast, thanks for being in Tom Zone for 6+ months with the XP Predictor says majority in America don't really understand what's happening in the macro timeline. I know, it's unfortunate. But the macro, we're screwed. We literally pissed it all. I'm literally going to have to live in my lifetime what my grandpa did in Italy. And he used to talk about it when he was alive. He died in 2001, my grandpa Spica, Gino. God rest his soul. As he's spinning in he spun so much in his grave. He's about 700 meters down in the ground now. Like, that's how far and he was actually put in a wall. So he's dug so much. He spun so much around in his grave that all the friction has forced him right through that cement wall and down about 700 meters. Just out of disbelief. But he used to say our country was going exactly like that, and it would only take a few decades. And I couldn't understand it when I was a kid. I learned more than most people did when I was in my early teens because of him. But now I see it happening, and I've been seeing it happen for decades. And now what we just did, it's not the first time, but it's the biggest time. Because now you literally have laws that were just passed in New York. Guess what? If you're a citizen of New York, at 3 a.m. you're going to hear them doing their prayer out in the fucking middle of the street. All the way until 11 p.m. But, if we go out there as Catholics or Christians or preach the word of our Lord, you get in trouble. You have protests everywhere. It's unbelievable what's happening right now. And people are like, oh, it's the freedom of religion. Suck my freedom of my nuts. How about that? Do you actually understand what that religion involves? I mean, I guess so. I guess this is what we want. I mean, I knew it would get here one day, but the way it's getting there is just bizarre. It's bizarro. Hey, but then again, who cares about all that, right? Trump's in office. That's all that matters, right? It's almost like we did this on purpose so that we could have the narrative flip. It's going to be an interesting... I keep saying the end of 28 is when it all ends. So we've literally got one more month this month, or 2 more months with most of November left. We've got December. We've got 26th, 27th. So we've got 3 years, 1 month, 22 days, and so many hours until everything gets put into law. January 1, actually January 2, because you have to give the 24-hour the hold period. So January 2nd, 2029, all these regulations go into effect, and it simultaneously is tied into... It's simultaneously tied into the crypto regulations. So where you're going to have to get marked and do all this bullshit of biometrics. Haven't you noticed most of the crypto exchanges now, they want you to voluntarily put your biometrics in? Just like all of your social media, notice how it's asking you to voluntarily do the biometric check-in. I always tell them to suck my you-know-what. I won't even do a thumbprint as a scan. I won't do an eye scan, nothing, to unlock my phone. And I know a lot of people do it based on their eye scan or their fingertip. I mean, you just, if you're willing to do that, why don't, so anyhow. Yes, Juice. Juice. Here, I'm going to put on YouTube because you're in Tom's Army. I don't know if you, I think you were actually a member that joined on your own accord. You weren't gifted a sub. But either way, I'm going to put a post on the YouTube members only post, and it's going to say, link to Telegram, and click on that. You get in the Telegram, follow the directions so you can prove you're not a spammer. That's all you have to do is accept our little prompt that comes up and read. And I encourage everybody who joins to read it. The Fine put a lot of time into this prompt so you can understand all the good and bad that comes with Telegram, because there are scammers and all this nonsense that people try to steal from everybody, which is all bullshit. And it pisses me off to no end. So I put it in the channels. It's the members only. I just posted it, so everybody should get a prompt who's in Tom's Army, including you, Juice. And literally, all you have to do is go on YouTube if you didn't get the prompt. Go to my page and you click on post. I don't really want to show this, but that's what it looks like right there. Now some asshole's probably going to go in there and try to steal it, but whatever. You know, it's up to each and every one of you to be in charge of your own portfolio, not be stupid enough to mess with somebody who's not me. I hate that I have to be so blunt nowadays, but after what happened in our country, don't be stupid. I got to tell you not to be stupid so you're not stupid, and you get offended. Well, you're being stupid if you're offended. Don't be stupid. Don't play the victim. Play the winner. Positivity over negativity. Apparently, though, I'm going to have to be a lot more blunt when I come in here. In a good way. But it's just, I am a person who does things in the straight and narrow. I'm very bold about what I say. I'm very blunt. You never have to second guess what I'm thinking. Today's the biggest tragedy in our country. Today's supposed to be the great aligning with our Lord and Savior, with Yahweh, Yahshua. It's the most holy day. And what do I wake up to? A bunch of bullshit, New York. For now, you guys are going to have to listen to that bullshit starting at 3 a.m. until 11 p.m. Basically, they're incorporating Sharia law in New York. How do you like it? If they're only one step away from telling women they can't show skin, then what? Then what? You know who they really are? It's not the Jewish. They're Kaza. The Kaza. The Kaza. Nobody still understands that. The Jewish people were infiltrated by the Kaza. Think about it. If you don't know what the Kaza is, I highly suggest you look it up. Khazarians, thank you, Saul. We do have some people in here that are very wise. The Khazarians, abso-freaking-lutely. And they said this is exactly what they were going to do decades ago. And they laughed about it and said the United States citizens were so stupid. They literally said this. That they were going to infiltrate us from within. Taking over government positions, taking over the police force, taking over the government positions, taking over the hospitals, taking over everything. Schooling. It's happened. And my fellow citizens are so ignorant. And I've been saying it since I started here. It's unbelievable. Do you think I preach this for no reason? Build your own central bank. Make sure you have cash on hand as a unit of debt. Because sometimes you need the unit of debt to pay for things outright. Make sure that you have 3 forms of income. 1 through crypto. 1 through your store of value. And 1 through your medium of exchange, which is your income you make. Whether you have 5 different streams of income, it all goes into your one income revenue. So you have to have an income revenue by working your ass off. You have to have 1 in a store of value where your profits go into, which is gold and silver bullion. And then you need to have the combination of cryptocurrency when it's in the right spots. And obviously it's a pain in the ass to understand. But if you follow here every day, I'll keep you in line. And you're going to want to have like the ones that get the gold and silver and the oils out of the ground. So you're going to need the miners and the exploration companies in the proper times. It sucks. Yeah, no. I've tried to be a little. I've tried not to be saying the naughty words because I have a, who knows, they could take this one down. I don't know. But sometimes, you know, you got to use the platform you have to kind of try to see where your audience's allegiance really is. It's so sad you can speak the name of Jesus and curse your fellow brothers with the same mouth. Oh no. If you think that's cursing my fellow brothers and sisters, they're not my brothers and sisters. You need to look a little bit deeper of what's going on. These are plants that are put in here to knock us into a civil war. World War III is going to take place on U.S. soil. So no, actually our Lord and Savior says to speak out in the name of the Lord. Speak for the righteous. Speak against the evil. If that's what you got out of it. But no, that's how it always goes. So anyhow, but yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about on that topic. It's just something that it's just going to get worse and worse. So I'm just going to continue to tell you, make sure that you have yourself in order. Make sure you understand what you're doing. Have some kind of setup for finances, because it's going to get harder and harder as we go forward. The more of this nonsense that takes place, the easier it's going to be to... But the good news is I think we're going to have a majestic style reversal more than likely. It's a perfect consolidation we've had. We should end up higher than we started this weekend. It's not guaranteed because we could very well have a sell-off candle. And if we end up breaking past 219-ish is where I would start to be concerned. So, oh, but it's not the Jews. This isn't the Jews. The Jews are good people. The real Jewish people are good people. They've just been infiltrated by the Kaza. It's just the way it goes. That's why it sucks, because the Jews are actually good people. Hi, Tom. Thank you for speaking truth about crypto and other nefarious things. I'm not sure any human has the right to condemn any other human. Did I say I condemn these people? I said I'm disappointed. I said I don't have any respect. I didn't say I condemn anybody. I just said you sold your country out for what? We have principles, my friend. If you're afraid to speak them, I mean, that's okay. It's okay. But I'll tell you what, I'm not fighting a war for a bunch of people who don't believe in the righteous. I'll tell you that much. You won't see me getting on the battlefield for this country because my fellow peers have sold us out. You can't fight for a bunch of people who don't even believe in what this country stands for. The only thing you can do is try to set yourself up and watch as one by one your fellow citizens get knocked off by way of... Most of my citizens won't be here in 5 years anyhow because they took the nah. So, also part of the plan. So, I mean, we're preaching to each other, but the bottom line is most of the people I preach to probably won't even be here in the next 5 to 10 years. So, anyhow, beyond that, interesting live for sure. Ruffled a few feathers, I'm sure. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of people who unsubscribe. But those are likely the people I really don't want in here anyhow. Nice inverse pattern on Ethereum. So I still think that this is set up nicely. Still think that this was the pull down we needed for that continuation. Doesn't look anything worse than that to me. All right. Oh, you're fine. I'm almost done now. It's been an hour. People are probably sick of me anyhow. The Cannabis Podcast says, in America, the coach lost the locker room, as they say. So true. So true. So true. I'm not saying you're unable to. I'm just curious who has the uncondemnable soul to condemn another human soul. Ah, I see. I see what you're saying. It's all an illusion. It's interesting. The only one who can really condemn somebody else is our Savior. You got to leave the judgment to Yahweh and Yeshua and God Himself, God Almighty. But God also gave us the ability to think clearly and to speak out against tyranny. I mean, it's in the Bible that we're supposed to speak out against false religions, are we not? The only 100% B Southtown. The only truth is love, full stop. Yep. That's true. Don't you think the Antichrist is on the soil of the USA now? Think about it. Just think about the Antichrist in the Bible. What does it preach? It may even speak of the Kaza point blank without saying Khazarians or Kazakhstan. And oh, there's no doubt of no. Trump's not the Antichrist unless you're talking about somebody else within the White House. He's actually the he's the stepping point to the Antichrist. He was who needed to be put in so that now you don't trust the white businessman. Think about it. But anyhow, I don't want to keep talking about this because guess what? This is just going to send it down the wrong line, and this isn't what my channel is about. So yes, sometimes you have to speak on some things, but this will be the only time I speak on them, period, point blank, because honestly, we can't do anything about it. And the only thing we can do is what we do. And we're going to make ourselves in a financially better spot and continue to go along this. And we're going to bet against the USA, like I keep saying. You bet against the USA, you build your own portfolio and your own household. You make sure you don't live a debt lifestyle. So when shit hits the fan, you're not one of the people that are at the mercy and the beck and call of what they want you to do to be able to live. So, I mean, you can draw your own conclusions. But I think everybody needs to take a reality pill. Because this isn't just... It's not a conspiracy anymore. It actually just happened. So... What's something fun and exciting?
We're going to sit next to my daddy.
Oh, he's going to be there? Ooh. That's exciting.
Yeah, because I have a few.
Christian. I see it. The Khazarian cabal infiltrated all. At least some of you understand. Some people understand the Kaza. But does this look like we're breaking down, or does this look like we got like a little flag set up here? It kind of looks like we're not going to break down here. But I'll be interested to see how this plays out for sure today. Have a blessed day, everybody, before I get everybody to unsubscribe. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. I won't be able to come back tonight. Julie's sister is getting married, as you know, tonight. Or maybe you don't. Mark Hassan said, I understand everything you say, Tom. I appreciate it. And thank you, Mark, for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. All of you, thank you so much. Mrs. Stott, Mr. Stott, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army 3+ months and joining me this morning. Should be a good wedding. Have to come back after. It's not going to be a long wedding. They're doing it at like some steakhouse or something, I believe. And there's no dancing or anything. It's going to be like a few hours. Boom, bang, done. And I'll be back home. So, but yeah, I expect it to go good. We're supposed to get snow tonight, 1 to 3 inches, believe it or not. So we'll see. If you're interested in that, go watch my brother Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing or Michigan Gold Snow Forecast on Facebook. He's got like he just went over 12,000 followers. I think he's got about 2,000 the last couple of weeks, and he's gotten like several million views in the last week or two. So I mean, it's starting to pick up there. So have a great day, everybody. Say a special prayer to Yahweh or Yeshua for our fellow man and woman, and just have a plan.